I had just got out of the shower and was getting dressed when a colleague called my home phone. "Are you watching TV? A plane just crashed into the World Trade Center in New York. Turn on CNN," he instructed. I switched on the television in my bedroom and watched as I continued dressing. Within minutes, the second plane hit the South Tower, and suddenly what had seemed to be an aviation disaster turned into a terrorist attack. I headed off to work, and as I was loading my camera gear into the trunk of my car, my cell phone rang. It was Barry Gray, our photo editor at the time. He wanted me to come to the office immediately to pick up reporter David Johnston and head to New York. I said I'd be there as soon as I could pack a bag with enough stuff for a week or so, and Barry said no, come right away. There was talk that the United States was going to close the border, and we wanted to get across as soon as possible. I picked up David Johnston, and along with photographer Alan McInnes and reporter Jeff Heinrich in another car, we headed off to New York. While we were driving, an editorial assistant at the office was arranging hotel rooms for us. She had been told to get us something as close to the Twin Towers as possible. Soon after, she called us to say she'd reserved 4 rooms at the Marriott in Lower Manhattan. What we didn't know was that the Marriott was right next to the World Trade Center, and when the towers collapsed, the hotel was destroyed. As we reached the end of Highway 15, the road was practically deserted. We drove right up to the border and crossed in minutes. It was a little eerie that the road was so quiet in the middle of a weekday. When we got within 80 kilometers of New York, traffic thickened, and we slowed to a crawl. Eventually, we were detoured off the interstate. Roads and streets were closed off, seemingly at random. We snaked our way through the boroughs, getting bogged down in Queens, and eventually made it to Brooklyn, where Alan McInnes had arranged for all of us to spend the night at the apartment of a former Gazette colleague. By then, there was no way to cross over into Manhattan, so we waited for first light on September 12th. We took the subway into Lower Manhattan, catching one of the last trains before that section was shut down. The next 3 days were spent trying our best to provide Gazette readers with coverage they couldn't get from the wire services. Near the police lines one morning, I saw a group of construction workers coming down West Broadway. As they got closer, I was able to notice their flat-soled construction boots and identified them as ironworkers. "Anybody here from Kahnawake?" I asked. "Yeah," came the response from 2 of them. And there was our story. Chester Goodleaf and Roy Phillips, and the work they did aiding the search for bodies in the wreckage of the World Trade Center.